Welcome to the Good Rookie Show. My name's Faheem.
And my name is Nelly J, y'all. And we are Good
That's
Rookies.
right.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Good Tuesday. And guess what? It's the Good Rookie Show.
Yep.
Yep. What's going on, guys? As you know, we're your hosts coming live and direct and recorded. I'm like live. We're not live. We're
Well,
live, but not to
well,
them we
technically
are.
we're live. Yeah.
I guess we are. From Toronto, Canada. Okay, the six T dot, wherever you're from, big up to you, GTA. So Fahim, excited for this topic today. But I gotta do a quick audible because we
Oh,
we we actually had a wonderful for the culture. We're the first to really promote her, talk about what she's done. And
yes.
now the woman, the only Nicole Lynn, her client, Jalen Hurts,
Right.
signed the biggest deal. He's the highest paid player in the NFL history, and his
Yep.
agent is a black woman. Big up
Mhm.
to Nicole and Fahim. I just
Big
had to
up.
do that.
Big
And I
up.
was like, and then I saw everyone now putting posts of her, and I'm like, we've been on her, okay?
Yeah.
We've been
Yeah.
like for the culturing Miss Lynn. You know what I'm saying? So
That's
it was
right.
just really cool that she's getting the recognition that she well deserves as a
Yep.
sports agent, leading the clutch sports football division. So yeah, big up to you, Nicole. And Fahim, what's your thoughts on her before we get into our hot topic? What's your thoughts on just like the fact that we spoke about her like literally 3 months ago,
Yeah.
and then her client now is like the highest paid player in NFL
Well,
history.
first of all, yeah, big up to her. Let's pat ourselves on the back, actually. People got to play catch up. There's a lot of stuff that makes not even headlines, but a lot of news that just comes out there that doesn't get uh, expanded on. So it's the fact that we saw something that's worth noting. Yeah, let's pat ourselves on the back for that.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Let's do that.
Okay.
But yeah, shout out to Jalen Hurts,
Yes.
and shout out to her also. I just think, I mean, it really shouldn't be a surprise because we went through her resume already, which
Mm-hmm.
is loaded. So it's nice that she's being getting the recognition along with Jalen Hurts, because most people when they hear the contract, you think of a lot of times the player, but a lot of people don't really know the people behind the player that move
Yes.
behind the scenes. So yeah, most
So
def. Shout
Fahim,
out to Nicole Lynn.
fun fact about Nicole Lynn,
Mm-hmm.
guess what she did to get Jalen as a client? You know what I'm saying? The beauty of social media. She DM'd him, DM on Instagram,
Wow.
on social media saying, hey, I'm not sure what she said, but it was like exactly. So the fact that she messaged him on Instagram to say, hey, like, I want to be your agent, and whatever her pitch was, it just shows that she went after it. You know what I'm saying? She
Right.
saw something in him in college. I was like, yeah, this is the guy that I want to represent. So big up
Wow.
to her for, and again, it shows you like the ones who take a risk and chances. Yes, she could have gotten rejected. He could have been like, no, thank you. Who the hell are you? Like, what do you want? But you got to go after things that you want in life. You got to go after it. You got to be courageous. You got to have no, like, just take, risk and all. Right. And so it just shows you, man, those simple questions, those simple things that we take for granted. You got to go after. So big up Nicole
Hmm.
Lynn and Jalen Hurts, and for Jalen Hurts and believing in her, accepting that request and allowing her to represent him in these types of negotiations, because it couldn't have been easy. We still have Lamar, not no contract yet with the Ravens. So big up for her, and of course helping him get that done.
Nice. Didn't know that little tidbit about how she got put on. That's a perfect segue because with our topic today, the NBA just released its list of top 10 most viewed players on social media this season. In the NBA, as we kind of spoke about this before with Dame, for instance, and his interaction with Twitter. KD is another one. LeBron, like a lot of these NBA players, the, there isn't a disconnect that much between the fans and the players. So it's actually cool that Jalen Hurts and Nicole actually got that connection through social media. Because if social media didn't break down the barriers for something like that, you wouldn't be able to have something like that happen. So I got a list here. of the top 10 most viewed players in the NBA this season. Did you see the list, Nelly J? Honestly,
I glanced at it. I know it
you
sent it to
glanced.
me,
So you didn't
but
look.
yeah, I
Okay, hold
glanced
on.
through
Don't
it. So I
don't
don't
don't look.
really, but
Don't
yeah,
look.
but
Don't
yeah.
look. Let
Okay.
me try to make this fun here. All right.
Okay. Oh
Who do you
Lord.
think is the number one most viewed?
Oh Lord. Honestly, has to be LeBron.
It's kind of
Like,
a, yeah,
yeah, it
right.
has to be
Obviously, yeah.
LeBron. LeBron just seems like just that guy. Yeah.
100%. Yeah. He had so about 1.3 billion video views. Not a really
Wow.
surprise, right?
Which is
Um,
crazy. Hmm.
right. So we'll go to the top five real quick.
Is this all basketball? Like what sport? All
Yeah,
sports?
all NBA, just NBA.
All NBA? Okay, cool. Good.
Okay. So it's LeBron. Who do you think is the second most viewed on social media?
Kevin Durant.
Oh, close. Okay. Kevin Durant.
What number is
Actually,
he?
he's not on the top 10, believe it or not.
Ooh, okay. So not Kevin
Yeah.
Durant. Okay, so
No.
so I'm thinking about
But
who actually puts out content. So
right.
I'm gonna say Giannis or Steph.
Yes. Okay. Well, so hit those two. Giannis was number five.
Okay.
Steph was number two with
Ooh, okay, cool.
880 million views.
Okay,
So
cool.
we got those two.
Mm-hmm.
Any other names you want to throw out that you think would be on
Okay,
the
so I'm
list?
just looking at who tweets a lot, who shares stuff, who's enough pun the Instagram and Twitter. Um, I would actually put like I could see this Instagram or just social media altogether.
Oh, I think it's all social media
Okay,
altogether.
so I know Dame Lillard tweets a lot. Damian Lillard, is he on there?
No, he didn't make the
Okay.
list. No,
Donovan Mitchell tweets a lot. No.
didn't make the Mitch
John
list. No.
Morant has to be John Morant because he was the one with
Yes,
the
John Morant's
gunshot.
number four with
Sorry, the
600.
gunshot with the gun
Yeah,
with the gun.
600,
Sorry,
650.
you don't know what I meant.
John
Damn
Morant,
it,
he's there for the wrong reasons,
for the wrong
unfortunately.
reasons. Yeah,
Right?
so he's four.
Yeah,
So
he's
one,
four.
two, Steph. So who's between Steph and Ja? Oh,
Someone who
uh,
actually, believe it or not, he's not really active.
he's
He's
that much
let's say he,
views, and it's not Kevin Durant. Is it Kyrie or something? Not
no, actually,
Kyrie.
Kyrie's number seven with
Okay.
370
I'm trying to
million. So
think. Is it Luca? Not Luca. I don't think
you
Luca
got
does
it.
that much.
Yeah, you
It's
got it. It's
Luca.
Luca. Yeah,
Oh,
or not.
yo,
I'm
I
wondering
honestly I've
why.
never seen a Luca post in my life. I don't even
Mhm.
know what his Instagram
But
like
keep in
handle
mind,
is
he
or
plays
Twitter.
in the state of Texas,
Yeah.
so perhaps just the population of that state and people
Yeah.
have the interest in there, right?
Yes. I mean, instead of Texas population is as populated as Canada, the country. So
Right,
that's
right.
it almost says that. Okay, wow. Okay. So I think I got 1 through 5.
You're doing great so
You
far.
said
Yep. Let
six.
me just
I think you
recap.
told me
It's
six already. I know sixes.
yeah, it's so
Yeah, I
around,
said
yeah. Okay, so we got so far we got LeBron,
mm-hmm.
Curry, Steph, Ja, top four.
Yes.
Number five, we don't have. Number six, don't have. Seven, you
You know
mentioned
what? I
Kyrie.
thought I said six. I thought you said when I said I said Kyrie.
Oh,
You
that's
said
okay.
Kyrie 7.
Yeah, Kyrie
You
seven.
said Giannis
Kyrie
was
seven.
5, right?
Oh, did you say Giannis? My
I
bad
did
if you
see it
did.
earlier. Yeah.
Maybe it slipped me. Okay, my bad. Giannis was on the list, and Giannis is number five.
Yes, I know I got 5. Okay,
Okay, my
so
bad.
Giannis. So now I said Kyrie 7. So
Yeah,
between Giannis and Kyrie, what do people care to look at? Shoe deals. I
I'm
want to
gonna
say
help you.
Is it
Go
not
ahead.
Zion? I want to say
No,
Zion or
no,
no.
no. Eastern Conference.
Eastern Conference player, not Joel Embiid, not James
No,
Harden.
nope. Neither of those made the list so
Okay, I'm
far.
about to say Eastern Conference, not Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero. No, those guys aren't big
No.
enough. Eastern Conference. Oh, is it Tatum? Because his son?
You got it, yo. You know your social
Deuce.
medias, man. What
Yeah,
the?
you know my social medias, man. I'm on there. Okay,
All
so
right. So, all right. So Tim, you got it. So far you're doing good. It's LeBron, Steph, Luca, John Morant, Giannis, Tatum,
okay,
Kyrie. So you're doing good. The last three, and okay, I'm gonna have to give you a hint with this.
okay,
The last three, they're not obvious ones, which I don't know why. Maybe we can get into why they made this list.
okay. I'm
One is
wondering, is it Draymond Green or something? Is Draymond on there?
no, and
No,
that would be a good one because
that's
you
hilarious because he bega social
right.
media. Um,
Let me help you with this one here. It's somebody who's there's a lot of interest in this player.
interest in this player.
A lot of interest in the potential of this player.
The potential of the so rookie. So let me look.
Not even like I said, potential. So, and this is which is weird because it says the NBA. This person technically is not in the NBA yet.
Oh, no way. Victor?
Yes, and I don't know. You're
Victor
right. Why?
Wemby, the top 10. So what? That is
Wow.
wild. Man's
Yeah.
not
So
even in the
technically, he
league.
shouldn't even be on this list because he's not an
Yeah,
NBA
like you don't
player yet.
qualify. But anyway, but it's
Anyways,
crazy that like he's gonna really be a top 10. He's gonna
Yeah.
bring a lot of revenue to this league. Lord,
Yeah. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lot of revenue. The NBA is like, yes, come Victor Wembanyama. You know what I'm saying? Like, woo. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So,
So
so we're
what
at
number
nine
was
and
he
10.
though? What number was he?
Oh, yeah. He's number 8, right behind Kyrie.
Oh
Yeah.
Lord.
Right
Eight.
behind Kyrie.
Okay.
So we're at 9 and 10. Um,
9 and 10.
I don't even know. So actually, I have let me, I think there's a reason why this person number 9, I'll give you a hint. He was involved. You mentioned Draymond. He was involved with Draymond
Not
drama
Jordan
early.
Poole.
You got
Not the
it.
punt.
And
The man who got Jordan Poole's top 10.
he's
What?
number 9. And I think is
Yo, I'm
obviously,
shocked.
yeah, he can count he can thank Draymond for that for sure.
Oh my gosh. Wow. But also I know like some of the gal them like him too. I know
Mm.
like some of the gal the young things like Jordan Poole. So maybe
Yeah.
that's what it is as
Okay.
well. Mercy. Okay.
All right. So
So number
now
10
number 10.
now. Number
I don't
10.
even know. He's not. So there is a reason why he's number 10. His would be he's tied to a particular award. And you mentioned Embiid, and it's not Embiid.
Oh, MVP. So Nikola Jokic.
You got it. He's number
Okay.
10. Yeah. And that
Okay.
would be the
Okay.
reason why, because he does not tweet. He's not on social media
No,
at all.
I'm again. I don't know what his social media handle is.
Right.
I've never had any desire to see what he's up to on a Tuesday, which is off
Yeah.
season. Like there's someone I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I wonder what Nicola's up to today. No,
Right.
I don't care. Never have cared. But he's a really good player. But just
Hmm.
it's not really someone that's really engaging in social media. He's probably on there
Hmm.
because his agent told him to go on there. But I don't
Yeah.
think he really uses the account.
So how much do you think being on a list like this in regards to top NBA social views, how do you think that plays into, say, for instance, the offseason one's contract, things like that, shoe deals?
To be honest, like it depends on like not all publicity is good publicity. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So LeBron, he is people call him a social media blank. You fill in whatever you want, but he's known to be on social media a lot. Like he likes the showmanship. LeBron likes to be in front of camera. Like he enjoys it, and that's why he'll be number one. And but he backs it with his game, right? So you can't knock it. The other guys, the top five guys, I think are all popular faces, but they all have been in controversial tweets or situations. So looking at LeBron, he's had some tweets that we question. He was an absurd at least once this past year, maybe twice this past year. So, someone that's known to just tweet and say things that maybe can be taken kind of icky, right? We
Mm-hmm.
got Ja with the trigger finger on IG Live. But also he's known to like tweet things, do his little we call it the little dance. We call that dance.
The
Little
gritty,
kids. What we call it the what?
the gritty.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's called. The
I
gritty.
don't.
Y'all gotta teach me stuff. The little gritty thing, a gritty, like grading something, whatever. That dance. And of course, like you mentioned, Luca. Luca again, he's controversial. Like the things he said, how he responds. Like, so these are all guys that I think have good basketball game, but they back it up. Now, when we drop down below the 7, like after Giannis, right? These guys are all on there because they were in some drama, right? So everyone that tweeted about Kyrie after the retweet he did and the whole controversy, that's why he's
Right.
top 10. Jordan Poole got punched. Imagine how much Jordan Poole tweets were out there around the punch, right? And his contract came at the same time. So it's timing. It's not just like, so for me, if I'm going to sign some of these players, I might sign them just to like, but will Jordan Poole influence younger guys to buy basketball shoes right now? No. Is Jordan Poole going to influence guys to invest in some type of brand because he's wearing it? Maybe, but depending on how much that brand costs, right? Like, I don't think Jordan Poole's influence is more than guys that aren't on this list. So it's just like social media is good and the bad, right? And that list definitely is a mixture of of the good, bad, and in between, if
Right.
you want to think
Right.
of it that way. Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I agree. I look at this list, a few surprises here. I do see one that's on the come up. Real quick, Jason Tatum. So Jason Tatum, he's got his new shoe deal. Pretty sure it's
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Brand, right? I'm pretty sure. Maybe I should double check that, but he got a new shoe deal. Jason Tatum. So we spoke a few weeks ago about last year. Devin Booker was the All NBA first team, mainly because his team did well and he was leading his team. Now this year, Jason Tatum is in that same situation. Looks like he's going to be a first All NBA player. His team did well. He's playing well. In regards to two guards in the league, Do you think that Jason Tatum has what it takes to turn that corner to be like a superstar?
Um, man, that's a good question. I think Jason Tatum, people are on the fence with him, rightfully
Mhm.
so,
Right.
because like there's moments where he disappears and moments where he's great, right? Greatness comes over time. That's why I don't like labeling. Like, I get it. You want to call Luka superstar now, Nika superstar now. I'm not there. Like, just because you're talented doesn't mean you're a superstar. Superstars means that you've carried this level of playing over a long period of time. That's why, like, I'm confident to call guys superstars who I know who have been playing at a great level, like a Giannis, Kevin Durant. Like these guys have proven over like 5+ years that they can carry this level, right? With me with Jason Tatum, I think he's on the come up. So I think he's the next man up with Luca class, right? Where they're both in a stance of we got to see more, right? And I'm okay with that. If you're like, oh, Tatum isn't a superstar yet because I want to see more, that's fine. I'm in a stance of he has the potential. I just think that like I just think for me, there's a reason why he hasn't been an MVP candidate yet or top three MVP there yet, right? Is because this league has people like Embiid, Jokic. These guys are just superhuman. And I think Jason Tatum, for me, he's like, and the Giannis, right? Those guys are just so dominant. Like what they do, no one else can, and they control games. I never seen Jason Tatum control a game like this is like everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone, whatever. Like he plays with Jalen Brown, and Jalen Brown to me is an all-star and a repeat all-star. Like he's a star. So maybe it's just fans waiting for him to win a championship, or maybe for us to see him dominate a playoff run where like he's averaging, you know what I mean? Like the Kawhi Leonard run with Toronto, that was epic. Like he was, I think, he had one of the most averages in any playoff history, just because he was just consistent every playoff run, right? I think with Tatum having those turnover issues, certain things that he does, I just think that he's next one up, right? If he can beat now Faheem, if Jason Tatum can beat Embiid and the Philadelphia supporting cast, right? Because that team is really good. If he beats Milwaukee this season, then I can't deny his super. I can't call him not a superstar, only because he beat two guys. Not only were they MVP candidates, right? They're dominant in this league. So if he could somehow lead a team to beat those two teams, I think he should be a superstar. But until I see that, as of today, which is in April, it hasn't happened yet. What about you though? Your thoughts on Jason Tatum?
I hear everything. Here's why I ask. I do think so. There's a change in the guard. You talk about LeBron, KD.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the change in the guard, the next wave of players coming up. You know, you have your elites, you have your Giannis's, you have your Lucas, etc. In regards to the position, I just think Jason Tatum. I just remember 3 years ago, for instance, before the
Mm-hmm.
bubble, there was conversations of who's better, Pascal Siakam or Jason Tatum. And at that
I remember
point,
those conversations.
before the bubble, there's really no right or wrong. It's kind of like a projection of where you think they're gonna go, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point, I think it was a fair conversation because they're both pretty much equal. It's been 3 years now. And here's why I think I asked a question. I see Jason Tatum's there's separation between him and Pascal Siakam now. Like I think he's into that next tier, right? Jason Tatum. Oh,
Yeah, I would say Jason is a better offensive player than Pascal, but
mhm.
defensively, I'm taking Pascal all day. So
Okay. And as a
Tatum defense
player, do you
isn't
okay.
the thing about Jason Tatum. What I like about him a lot, why I prefer his game over Pascal, the guy's a mid range, the guy's a
Mhm.
midi, like he can
Yeah.
score mid range comfortably, and he has different ways of scoring, making a bucket. Pascal is still struggling a little bit to add more games to repertoire. So I do think offensively, Tatum all day.
Right.
If I pick one or the other, I'll definitely pick Tatum because in fourth quarters he does tend to step up later in the games. So I can see that bias, but I do like Pascal's defensive end. Like he's defended a lot of great players when we need him to, and 1 through 5. I've seen Pascal defend Trae Young. I did not once see Tatum defending Trae Young in this series. So I do give defensive end, but overall player, yeah, Tatum is better. I'll give you
Okay.
that.
So yeah, so there's separation between uh Tatum and Pascal.
But it's not that big though, Fahim. It's like small.
Okay.
It's small
Sure.
because guess what? fine. Plug in Pascal on that Boston team with Jaylen Brown and those guys. How far are they going last year? I think it's the same. I think it's the same with the same coach. I
I
you plug in Pascal Siakam with playing along a Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, like with that same team last year. It's the same. Like I'm trying to
okay.
see like what like
I do
the separation
disagree,
isn't
but
that
it's
great
okay.
because I think Jaylen Brown will probably play better with Pascal because Pascal doesn't always want the ball all the time. So I think Jaylen will probably get more points, but I think it's the same type of I think it's the same team. Like I
Mhm.
don't think Tatum does anything like what does Tatum do that is so good that no one else can do? Jason Tatum. Like what's something that you think that he can do that like Pascal can't?
Mm, I think you mentioned it, the MIDI, the fact that
But I know, but again,
he's a
that
reliable
separation isn't
to
like crazy though. Like you're saying
he's reli
separation, like it's
he's
like head and shoulder. I think
okay.
it's a little gap, little
Okay.
gap.
Okay.
Because guess what?
Uh,
Put Tatum on this Raptors team right now. We're the same place as we were. We're a playing team, first round exit, maybe.
okay. I disagree,
That's
but it's okay.
yeah.
Uh,
You know what I'm saying though? And like even. But one thing about Tatum though, offensively, I think he's a freaking he's more hunger offensively. Like Jason Tatum wants to play 48 minutes and take the ball and like missing or shooting. That guy wants like up here and here. He's just an animal. I think Pascal, to what we said before, he's a bit more passive. That's why I was saying like Tatum. The difference between me and Tatum and Pascal is their offensive bag, but also the hunger that Tatum had. That man likes he's a competitor. I wish Pascal was a bit more like, give me the ball, a bit more like that. But again, it could be a culture thing, could be just a personality thing. But yeah.
so it seems
Anyway,
like
sorry.
so yeah, but everything you're mentioning is the reason why I think there's like that's noticeable separation between the two.
No,
You know what
they're
I'm saying?
separated, but I guess maybe I'm think like the separation, but you're making it seem like it's such a big gap. I just think
I
that
do think so.
Boston is okay. Well, I disagree because I think Boston is
Okay,
a better
that's cool.
team altogether. Yeah, that's what I
Okay.
think it is. But go ahead.
So in regards to Jason Tatum going to that next level now and being that next conversation of the next top two guard, I happen to think that Tatum has what it takes to keep elevating his game and getting better. So that's why I was asking to kind of see where your head's at. That's all.
No, honestly, I think we're at the high. I think Jason Tatum has hit his peak. What he's doing now,
Okay.
he's not gonna get better than this. What we're seeing now, like I think there's room for Pascal to grow. I think Jason Tatum, this is his peak. That's why he needs to me, like he needs to win with this Boston team. Like that, this is the best we're gonna see of Tatum. I think this is the best we're gonna see out of him in terms of his career. He averaged 30 points. I think this year. That's
Mhm.
gonna be like that's his peak. Like he was doing fifth. I think he started off in the teens then the mid 20s. Now he's at 30. Yeah, I think he'll be in the 30s. And after 30s, he's like that. This is the highest of his game. Like this year was his best season to date, right?
Right.
So to your point, that's why I feel like how much years of this can he do? Because we know Jaylen Brown, I don't know if they can keep him because he may want to leave, right? So this is a team that you want to keep. And this is, I think, is the last year of having everyone together. I think because I don't think they're going to keep all these players. I think Pascal can still probably grow. I don't think we're seeing the best of Pascal yet, which I think is crazy, but I don't think we have. And what's messed up for him? They list Pascal as a center on some sites. That's crazy, a center, because he played center a lot of times this year because we didn't have a center for him up until we got Pirtle.
Mhm.
So technically, Pascal's like a center slash power forward for us for the last 2 years, which is out
Mhm.
of his position.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll just keep an eye on it continuously, I guess. And next season, we'll see what happens. I think come next year, if they did at this same time next year, some people will not be on the list. I think Jordan Poole won't make it on the list. I don't think Nikola Jokic will be on the list either. Um, Everyone else on that list, I think, is pretty much could be on that list. Anyone that you want to replace real quick if you think next
I
year?
like that. I would say, let me see. Yeah, I agree with you. Poole and Jokic, I don't think they'll be top 10. I think they'll be replaced with any other controversial player that comes out this year. It's only April, man. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? We have a lot of coverage to happen. So yeah, I agree.
Mhm. All right. So Nelly J, do you want to go to for the culture?
For the culture, we like to highlight individuals for the culture. And today we get to highlight Toronto Raptors forward OG Anunoby.
Mm.
Who actually Faheem is a junior. I don't know if I know, but he's actually a junior, y'all. That's right. But OG Anunoby, who I think is beloved by Toronto, his dry humor, his epic, what about scarves? What about scarves? What about scarves? He's for the culture this week, and it's because OG is making some big moves. He is now a part owner of the British Basketball League's London Lions. He
Woo!
actually purchased for him a minority stake this past week. And it's like interesting. Like we talk about players making moves and becoming owners in different sports. I thought when I saw this for him, I was very happy for this man. He's 25 and is already thinking about how can I invest in this sport that I'm already playing in body wise, but how can I invest in basketball where I'm from, right? Because he is from overseas. So, what's your thoughts for him on OG becoming a part owner of the London Lions?
Yeah, shout out to OG and Anunoby. So the British Basketball League, it's so there's leagues, and I remember we had a discussion on Twitter Spaces a while back, and we had um, Jamel Kennedy, who was playing in the BAL, Basketball Africa League, and they were
Mm-hmm.
talking about just being a player playing overseas and how different it is overseas. And the British Basketball League is definitely a league that's established over there. So I think having someone like OG Anunoby behind the league is going to do wonders for the exposure for the league, first of all,
Mm-hmm.
but not for the exposure over here, but I think more importantly, the exposure is going to be for over there and in other leagues across Europe also. You
Yes.
know, so it's kind of like uh, an international move, and maybe more importantly, in Africa, the Basketball Africa League. In this league is made up a lot of players who realistically are not going to make it to the NBA. So it's good to have a good league over in Europe, or be one of the better leagues in Europe. In order to have that, it's good to have good foreign investment in there. So shout out to OG and Nobi with that big move with the London Lions.
Yeah, and like what's really cool about this league, they actually started in the late 80s for him.
Mhm.
Um, Kind of similar to our type leagues in Canada, which is quite interesting. They only have 10 teams, right? So they're like a smaller type market. And their cup finals recorded had 9,000 people expected. So like the league I'm seeing now, the London Lions, last season was they had a record in which they reported in January that over 15,000 people at the arena. So that's a lot of people for the London Lions, and that's a record for that team. So OG is investing in a team that is on that's like is progressing. It's moving up, and having 15,000. I think they're in the fine. That's rapid growth, and now adding him to it is going to be great. They even said on the broadcast they gained 100. They had an increase of 181% in viewership. So that was the increase, and that was at their Euro Cup game. And it happened in January.
Mhm.
So they had record numbers on the broadcast and attendance. Basketball, as we know, is growing internationally. So for OG to invest now, it kind of reminds me of, we didn't have that many Black owners investing in NBA teams back in like the 80s, right? Where teams are probably a lot cheaper than they are now. You know what I'm saying? So it's good to have the vision to start, trying to invest, getting ownership now, having OG attached, an NBA player attached to the ownership group, that might just increase advertising, right? Branding,
Sure,
ticket
for sure.
sales, right? OG must be, I'm not from England, but I can imagine having, a NBA player, attending a game or two or being ownership. That's always going to increase, right? So, big up to OG for doing this for his where he's from.
Mhm.
Um, and I just hope to see more players do more investments like this in ownerships and now with this new CBA, I'm curious to see which players will plan to invest in a WNBA team and an NBA team and so forth. So that should be fun.
Nice. I like that you mentioned the CBA because actually I was going to mention that one of the So was a stipulation in there or something where I do remember in the CBA about ownership opportunities with the CBA. Do you know how that was working with the NBA players they can invest in? Is
Yeah,
it
they can
other
invest
NBA
in ownership. So so now they can invest in teams and
Mm-hmm.
WNBA teams,
Mm-hmm.
if they want, which I think is great.
Right.
As well as betting companies. So I think like cannabis, like different companies. So I mean, it's not finalized yet, but I think just giving players should be able to invest their money if they want to, right? And we just saw a few NFL players getting banned from the NFL because they were found betting on their team. It's like they're betting because they want to make money while they're playing, right? So let's find a middle ground, right? Let's help players, not limit them on investing on team ownership. Let them invest in their own team. Like if I'm playing for this team, why can't I buy stakes in this team, right? What's like after I can only play? That's very like slave type mentality where I'm paying you, but you can't invest in my company. And nowadays, most companies you work for, they will give you like shares in their ownership stakes, or you can actually buy shares for the company that you work for. So I think this is a great move. Like, why not do that? And this way players can start investing earlier on in their career, not only invest when they retire, which I think is not fair, into, of
Mm-hmm.
course, NBA and WNBA teams.
Mm-hmm. And also, London seems to be so in regards to growth of the sport. We think of the NFL. The NFL has had games in London. Um, Major League Baseball has not had games in London, as far as I am aware. But the NBA has been had a London series. London, it's a world-class city, a world-class city that if having an NBA, sorry, having a team, a basketball team, I think just helps the profile of the city and having, I guess, because I just checked the arenas. Do you know the capacity that the arena that they play in, or for the London Lions in London?
The capacity, no.
Yeah,
What's the
yeah. So the
capacity?
the capacity of their arena, it's 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the larger ones. You mentioned earlier, there's 10 teams. For the most part, a lot of these teams are playing in like 1,000 seat arenas,
2,000. Yeah,
1,500,
that's what I saw. That's
very
average.
low.
Yeah.
So just seeing at the London Lions, out of, was it Copper Box Arena, it's 6,000. That means they got to be pretty much the Lakers, or even better yet, they're the Knicks of this league. So for OG Anunoby, to lend his name and his celebrity, definitely in London. It's a lot more of a celebrity than he would be here in regards to basketball. I think it's amazing, and it's the right team, I think, for if you are looking for an investment to get involved in early. So shout out to OG and Anunoby.
Yep. Big up to that. And that's why he's for the
That's
culture.
why it's
Hey,
for the culture,
hey.
no doubt. All right, so Nelly J, you want to close it out with our last segment, which is that's absurd.
That's absurd. Faheem, bro. What was absurd this week? What was absurd? Ah.
This one is it's okay. I'll just tell you what's absurd. Well, it's weird. This absurd is weird. Let me just tell you this. There's a footballer, um, Achraf Hakim. So his
Mhm.
wife had filed for divorce and she demanded half of his property. Uh, but she's going to receive nada because Hakimi's assets were under his mother's name. So technically, he owned nothing. Absurd.
Absurd.
Absurd
So
and absurd.
absurd. It's so absurd that, and I get it, right? And I also want to put a little nut. What do you call it? A little something else in there. What do you want to call it?
Okay.
Whatever you
Nugget?
call it.
Or
Yeah, a little nugget in there, right? She is 12 years older than him as well.
Mm,
So, a mid 30s, or 10 years older than her husband at the time, or now could be the worst husband. The fact that the mother was like acknowledging, he's an up and coming star. He's playing soccer. We all know football is a huge, huge sport in the nation, and then for the nations of Africa, in the European nations as well. The fact that um his mother was like, yeah, it's probably wise if we protect you, right? And the fact that he was okay with that. Some people are like, no, it's like he may have been like, no, mom, like I trust her, we're together forever. I'm not sure how the mother, what I'm saying, like this is some type of like way to really manage your wealth. Like I don't know if this is the mother's wisdom of saying, let's just do this for now, and maybe after 10 years, then we'll put it back in your name. Like I'm not sure. Whatever it is, I just think that mother stepping in, recognizing that, hey, let's just put this in there in case, just in case, right? He is 24, right? And I think she's 32. I remember, to my knowledge, 32, 33. So, she filed for divorce and proclaiming she wants half. And it's not in his name. Uh, this could be hashtag for the culture, hashtag not absurd. But hashtag like, wow, I'm kind of impressed with him. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh wow, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's something that I think there's many ways, and I don't know if a lot of men know, and women, because there are women who are paying alimony to men as well. Um, if you are coming in with, let's say, 10 times more, right, money than your spouse, right, and of course love is a thing, love is there. It's always good to protect what you have before, right? Now whatever you earn with that person, especially if they're working for you, they're working with you, guys are like have come together, of course certain things like that I expect, the wife or the partner, I should say, the partner, either way, split that. But if you're just, coming in and you're hoping to make money off of a player, and we all know this, things like gold diggers, they're gold diggers that are men and women. I just think that this is a cautionary tale where, you know, I'm not saying she's a gold digger. Maybe she's not. Maybe she actually just wasn't happy with him, right? It could be that too. Like people assuming that she's just divorcing because she wants his money. We can't expect that, right? Or assume that. But the fact that he's like, you know what, my earnings that I'm making, I'm going to protect that. And of course, for him, I'm sure he'll give her something. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to divorce and give her nothing, right? You loved her at one point, right? You want her to be okay. But the fact that he kind of had a game plan just in case, I think that's very strategic. Not romantic, but very strategic. So
Mhm.
I'm not mad at it.
So you kind of touched upon something on the way out I just want to mention. So there is kind of a narrative that, she was a gold digger. Apparently she's an actress and she had a career of her own, right? So I just find it where, well, you pretty much summed it up. There's a possibility where, there's something that was genuinely wrong in the relationship. When you read the story off face value, it kind of seems like she's a gold digger that's after his money. Who knows? Perhaps there's things were in the relationship that were not right. And, being the woman, you'd assume that she would get half. And the story ends up that since he put in his mother's name, he has nothing, she gets nothing. All we could just say is, a best luck to both of them. Because the two of them know the real reason of why they split, if it's by genuine reasons or not. But I find it very interesting that, you know, I've never heard of this Jedi move before. So do you think that I'll throw this question to you on the way out. How much do you think this case study would be for people going forward?
Yeah, I think he has created a trend. And to give you a little background, right? They dated in 2018, got
Mhm.
married in 2020, and they do have children, right?
Wow.
She
Okay. I
filed
didn't
for
know that.
divorce in
Oh.
2023. So 3 years of marriage, and she already just wants to have, right? I think of people seeing on the outside, but on the
Mhm.
inside, keep in mind 80% of his 80% of what he has reported is in his mother's name, right? And she has his kids. So even though his assets are protected, his money protected, she will get something because that she bared his children, right? And any father, as you know, you're a dad yourself of two, you want your kids being taken care of. What people are assuming is like it's 3 years later, y'all, you want half of his property. Not even like, what, it's only been 3 years, right? 3 years. Just I want our kids to be taken care of. So give me the money that I would need to make sure our kids are comfortable and protected and we can live a good life, blah, blah, blah. Right. That should be the approach that she had, not I just want half your money. Right.
Mm.
It's something where I just think that, it needs to be, it needs to be managed a little bit. And that's why I can see people kind of commenting and calling him a legend. But I mean, on the flip side, we're seeing more and more, just so you know, women marrying these younger stars that are 20, 22, 23, and they're like 30, 31 to 35 as well. And so that's good. That, I mean, but again, men have been marrying women that are younger as well. It goes both ways, right? But now we're in a space where, okay, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you have more assets, you have to protect your assets as that, because you worked hard for that yourself, right? So no one can come into your life, man or woman, and try to take half of it. I think that's the message here. And the fact that he did that, big up to him for kind of preempting it. But also, I don't want her to be vilified either. You know what I'm saying? Because there's two sides to a story. And I think that the trending story is like, oh, he's a legend, but also like she had his kids. We don't know what that marriage was like. You know what I'm saying? So we got to assume, maybe she wasn't happy and she wants half, but respectfully, you will get what, you'll get money to take care of the children, right? But I just think that this story for him is now trending. I think a lot of people, when they're getting married, especially if you're a professional athlete, if you are a soccer, footballer, baseball, anyone that in their 20s, I think now any athlete should do this for him. And that's just me speaking objectively. But protect your assets. You worked half your life to get to play the sport. Sacrifice weekends, days, like food. You know what I'm saying? Like outings for your sport. So you got to protect your stuff. So I ain't mad at it. I'm really not.
Yeah, me neither. Shout out to them both. Hope, since there's kids involved, I just hope that it gets resolved.
Exactly.
All right. On that note, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Yes, this is the Good Rookie Show. So again, this is the time, guys, we'll like to look up like a shout out, you know what I'm saying? So I think my shout out is going to be, again, we started with her and with her, Nicole Lynn, making history, having the highest paid athlete in NFL, and the agent is a woman. It is just, women, we push these boundaries and I love it, but I just think it's great for her story, how she met him through DMing on IG, like a Hail Mary, like all that to me, y'all, it just tells you take risks. Like, don't sit back and expect things to fall in your lap, right? If you want it, you got to go and get it. So big up Nicole Lynn, man, and Jalen Hurts for the culture as well. Go ahead, Faheem.
Nice. I'm going to piggyback off that real quick. Coming in, was Jalen Hurts of like a blue chip, highly sought after QB coming in?
Not really. Remember I told you, like, what as a black quarterback, people question, should he be a quarterback? They weren't sure about it, right? And I get it. Black quarterbacks will always be highly scrutinized, right? And even last year, it's funny, I thought he would have a good season just because I was like, yeah, this guy should break out this year because he had the O-line and stuff like that. And people were like, it's just Jalen Hurts, whatever. But he played so well for them. Like, sometimes for him, you want your quarterback to make the least amount of mistakes. If you just do that and ride your team, like we've seen Niners make it to the Super Bowl with all the different quarterbacks, because just make the least amount of mistakes, just get your team there. He got his team there, but he also won games for them as well. So despite the defense and the offensive line, stuff like that. So I just think his growth, his confidence, him pushing himself, this check he deserves. And now all you got to do is just make sure he does the same thing again and again and again. So, yeah.
All right. I'm piggybacking off that then. That's my shout out. Also, 5-year extension reportedly worth $255 million.
Cha-ching, ching, ching.
For someone who wasn't highly touted and as you say, highly scrutinized, to pull himself over the hump and be the highest paid player. Shout out to Jalen Hurts. On that note, Nelly J, let's put this episode in the books.
Y'all, that was a Good Rookie Show. If you had a good time, you enjoyed yourself, please like and subscribe. And tell a friend to tell a friend. Faheem.
We're on all platforms if you're looking for us. You know the deal. It's the Good Rookie Show. And we out.
Peace.